Welcome to the SEO.co Search Engine Optimization Podcast. Digital marketing essentials and next level tactics. From offsite and on-site optimization to persuasive selling and everything in between. You'll learn actionable tips on what it takes to outright and outrank your competition. Now, here's your host, Timothy Carter.
Thanks for joining me on the podcast. Today we're going to talk about how to refresh, reuse, and revitalize your stale content. You know, we've all been there. You know, you've been pouring your efforts into content generation, making dozens of posts and covering every topic you can think of. You're borrowing information from industry news, refreshing older posts with new information, and brainstorming just enough topics to keep your campaign going. But eventually, you'll hit a wall. Your site has plenty of new posts to work with, but for some reason, none of your pieces stand out. Your content is still good, but it's not great. It's gotten stale. For some companies, that's attributable to a lack of new and unique ideas. For others, it's the product of content exhaustion. No matter the root cause, if you want your content to start exciting people again, you'll need to fix it. As Einstein revealed, problems cannot be solved at the same level of awareness that created them. So you can't fix your stale content problem by applying the same content strategies that got you into this mess in the first place. Instead, try one of these alternative content strategies to kind of kickstart some new life into your work. Number one would be outsourcing content. Outsourcing your content might scare you for two reasons. One, you might be afraid to relinquish control of your brand voice to someone who's unfamiliar with it. Two, you might be worried about the extra budget of paying a new writer to join your team. Fortunately, you don't necessarily have to pay a writer to cultivate great content and, kind of shift from your brand voice. As long as it's tied to a separate individual brand, it could actually be a good thing. So here's how to handle it. Make an announcement that your company is looking for guest bloggers in the space. And if you already know some prominent guest bloggers, feel free to reach out to them directly. Give them a handful of general guidelines, but for the most part, let them create whatever they feel would be good for your blog. The final edit is yours, of course. Give the author credit and some shares on social media. And you'll end up with brand new content for free, basically. Two, how about try posting videos instead? If you're used to writing all your posts, try experimenting with a new medium like video. High quality video production takes expensive equipment and technical skills, but putting together a basic monologue based video is super simple. Instead of writing directly about a given subject, try speaking the information as if giving a lecture. Post a video on your YouTube channel for some extra social media authority and embed that video into your blog. Then you can type out a transcript of the video, or maybe you're already reading, a blog article for that video and post it as an accompaniment to the feature. That way you'll get all the SEO benefits of text, but you'll have a new medium and a slightly different voice to carry your message. In a sense, it's an instant refresher course that can liven up your traditional subject matter and diversify the look and feel of your blogs. Three, use interactive posts. Interactive posts are shorter pieces of content than your traditional how-to articles and news posts. They may require a bit of extra coding, but if you can make them evergreen and valuable to your customers, they'll last forever and will send you up, surging up the search results. There are many types of interactive posts, but two of the most common are calculators and quizzes. Calculators will require you to input a number of different fields, and then it'll automatically calculate an answer to a customer's question. For example, there are compound interest calculators that'll project retirement savings based on a handful of assumptions based on the user input. Quizzes, on the other hand, they ask a series of questions and formulate a response based on their answers. Say on Facebook, some of the most shareable quizzes tend to be those personality-based ones, like such as, which Game of Thrones character are you? But they have a practical business application as well. For example, you could have a quiz for which light bulb is best for my kitchen, or what type of car should I buy, to guide users to specific products. Number 4, radically alter your content length. And this is a fairly simple strategy, but you'll be amazed at how much of a difference it makes, especially if you've gotten used to, sticking to a certain word count. For example, maybe you're used to writing the standard 800 to 1,000 word blog articles. Eventually you'll find a rhythm, and for a time that rhythm will be a good thing. You'll get better at fitting your content into that length, but eventually it can lead to stale, repetitive, and formulaic content. So, alternating your lengths can be great to keep you on your toes and give you more opportunities to change up your process. For example, try writing 2 posts of 1,500 words, and then try a 3,000 word post before returning back to that 1,000 word routine that you were doing. Write a book would be like number 5. So, you don't necessarily have to publish a book. All you have to do is write in the style of one. Pick a complex, multifaceted subject that you can adequately explore and research in a book spanning, 100 pages or more. And then plan the course of your book, break everything down into separate sections, and each section into separate chapters. Then, start writing. Whenever you finish a chapter, you can clean it up and post it as a blog entry. Just don't make a reference to the fact that it's going to come from your book, unless that's part of your strategy. Instead, link related pieces of content together by declaring them as part of a series. Writing content in a broader context like this is extremely beneficial for getting a fresh perspective on that particular aspect of what you're writing about. 6, explore a new subject. This might seem obvious, but each person's definition of a new subject is different. For example, let's say you're a dental clinic writing about gum disease. A subject change to you might be writing about crowns and bridges and retirees. And that could similarly yield similar results from the content. Instead, think bigger, and go after deeper subjects. Instead of going from dog illnesses to cat illnesses, take a leap and write about, puppy obedience. It has nothing to do with health or illness, but it will still be appealing to the same audience. So think outside of your company's core competencies, and instead think about what your audience might like to read instead. And then last and certainly not least, write about your company. It's true that using your blog for company-related updates can be a bad idea, but throwing in an occasional post about milestones in your company's history or landmark achievements from your staff can only help liven up your blogging strategy. The stipulation here is to avoid posting these too often. They should only serve as posts to break up your usual stream of content, not the basis of your strategy. And so, these alternate strategies may not work for every business, but they should help bring a new perspective, or at least give you a handful of new ideas that you can interject into your campaign. Diversity is the key to keeping things fresh on the content front. So do everything you can to read, learn, and be aware. The fresh ideas you get will go far to fuel that content and link building strategy, both for you and your clients' websites. And that's it for today's episode. If you need some help with creating content, that is what we are here for. Come on over to SEO.co and schedule a time to have a free consultation. Learn how we can help you scale your ability to outwrite and outrank your competition.
Thank you for joining us on the SEO.co podcast. We appreciate your time. Be sure to rate, review, and subscribe to the show, and visit SEO.co for more resources based on today's topic, as well as access to more podcast episodes to help you improve your site's long-term SEO success.